This was the Esther that I met in Tulsa, Oklahoma, when I became the second woman in the history of the Eastern Oklahoma Presbytery to be called to the pastoral ministry of a congregation within the church, within their bounds. Esther was not a member of the church I served, but she was clearly there, ready to support this very young puppy of a pastor who had little idea what she had gotten into or what exactly she was doing. You see, God gave Esther a special love in her heart, an eagerness and energy to reach out to women clergy and seminary women and young Presbyterian women in college. God gave Esther an especially warm, welcoming place in her heart for Presbyterian women who were not of Northern European background, women from minority cultures trying to find their place in our very white dominant culture denomination. Esther, by the way, is white. When after many years she retired from her volunteer job, Presbyterian women of the Synod of the Sun set up a scholarship fund in Esther's name to help young women of the Presbyterian Church attend college. Many of us were shaped and formed in the nurturing presence of this remarkable woman. She gave us challenging responsibilities, and we did what she said. She expanded our perspectives as she engaged us more and more fully in the larger church at every level of the denomination. She modeled for us crossing boundaries, ecumenical boundaries, cultural and linguistic boundaries, socioeconomic boundaries, boundaries of gender, age, race, sexual identity, and expression, crossing all kinds of boundaries to form partnerships with people working for a common cause. Always keeping before us a multitude of justice issues and an abundance of deep care and genuine love for those without voice who seemed invisible to the powers that be. Esther left this earth 8 days ago to join her beloved husband Ed, himself an honorary lifetime member of Presbyterian Women, PCUSA, as they continue their sacred journey with divine love leading them on, discovering new surprises in places we do not yet know. 2.5 weeks ago, as I sat by her side, holding her hand, sharing memories, praying with her, reading to her, I shared these words from a song familiar to you and familiar to Esther. I was there to hear your mourning cry. I'll be there when you are old. I rejoiced the day you were baptized to see your life unfold. When the evening gently closes in and you shut your weary eyes, I'll be there as I have always been, with just one more surprise. Esther smiled weakly, but with a sparkle in her eye as she listened to the words. With Esther's passing, a bright spark of light has gone out from our world. But Esther's spirit still lives on in our midst through the many whom she raised up and challenged and nurtured and loved into doing justice, loving kindness, walking courageously and humbly with their God, the God who walked with her every step of the journey. Esther was a reformer in our own time. She brought a lot of positive change into our denomination and into our world. Esther also left a lot of other reformers in her wake, people who have brought about a good deal of change, people still leading Reformation movements in our world and in our denomination. Esther was a modern-day reformer, always ready to take on what needed to be changed, showing us ways to bring about these changes. While she also taught us to laugh, to love, to enjoy life, to stand beside the people you love, to make sure you were in a bond of sisterhood with women who would gather around you when you needed them. She taught us to extend our hands and our hearts, especially to those needing to find their voice, those still trying to establish their place at the table. Esther taught us always to find a way, or to make the way if need be, in the work for truth and justice, no matter how hard the fight, and to make sure you had trusted companions on the journey. Esther Fitch-Nowlin was a reformer. We need reformers in our world. Biblical reformers, reformers from history, modern-day reformers, reformers right now in our midst, people walking the thin line between fear and the call, balancing their sense of where God is calling them with the fear of always lurking dangers as one follows the call. People of courage willing to take a risk. People of genius using their keen intellect to navigate the treacherous waters in which reformers often find themselves. People with generosity of spirit who boldly share what they discover, where the Spirit is leading them, what they know to be true, risky as that may be, rather than remaining safely quiet. Reformers are not always loved, not even always liked by others. Luther was excommunicated and declared an outlaw, spending years hiding, trying to preserve his own life, as the wrath of the church turned into efforts to destroy this reformer. Jesus' disciples found the Syrophoenician woman annoying. Jesus essentially called her a dog. Still, she expanded the horizons of his ministry, reforming Jesus' understanding of his call. I suspect not everyone felt a warm, friendly glow inside when they saw spunky little Esther coming their way. She could tell it like it was. If that did not endear her to you, oh well. She was smart, informed, prepared, persuasive, and very often got the results she wanted. Esther heard God's call on her life to do justice, love kindness, walk humbly with her God. If in the process of responding to that call, someone didn't like her, no matter. For the many who sought her out, who loved to be with her, listening to her counsel, remembering what she told you for years to come, you might just have found a true friend for life. We need reformers in our world, people who expand our visions, seeing what others may not see. People who risk going where others may not go, taking the church along on the sacred journey. People who follow the Spirit, putting their hands on the moral arc of the universe and bending it a little further toward justice as they help us to see truth and challenge us to be fighters for justice. We need reformers in our midst.